Meet Maya. Maya is 27 years old, and she has been aggressively saving money since she got her first real job at 22. She brings her lunch to work. She drives a 2016 Honda Civic that makes a weird rattling noise when she turns left, and she puts $500 a month into her investment account like clockwork. She has been doing this for 5 years. 5 years of saying no to girls' trips, 5 years of skipping the expensive brunches, 5 years of discipline. She logs into her brokerage account, expecting to see a number that reflects that massive sacrifice, and she sees $38,000. She stares at the screen, and she feels like crying. She does the mental math. If it took me 5 years to save $38,000, it's going to take me another 10 years just to hit $100,000. I'll be nearly 40 before I have 6 figures. What is the point? Maya is currently standing in the most dangerous place in personal finance. She is in the slog. She is doing everything right, but the math hasn't caught up to her effort yet. She feels like she is pushing a boulder up a mountain, and she is about to give up right before she reaches the summit. What Maya doesn't realize is that she isn't failing. She is fighting gravity. She is battling the specific mathematical phenomenon that makes the first $100,000 the hardest money she will ever accumulate, and she is unaware that once she crosses that line, the boulder doesn't just stop getting heavier, it starts rolling down the other side on its own. Today, we are going to save Maya from quitting. We are going to break down the Charlie Munger Rule, explain the physics of financial escape velocity, and show you why your first $100,000 is harder than your next $1 million. My name is Zara, and I spend way too much time obsessing over the mathematical tipping points that separate the wealthy from the frustrated. If you're someone who feels like you've been saving forever with nothing to show for it, make sure to hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up if this helps you out. Because today we are going to prove that the math is on your side, even if it doesn't feel like it yet. The reason Maya feels like she is losing is that she is judging a linear process against an exponential outcome. This is the fundamental disconnect that causes 90% of people to quit investing before they ever see real wealth. Let's look at the brutal, unvarnished math of the first $100K. To get from $0 to $100,000, the vast majority of the work has to be done by you, not your money. If you save $10,000 a year with an average 7% return, it will take you roughly 7.8 years to hit $100,000. In those 7.8 years, you will have contributed about $78,000 of your own hard-earned cash. The market will have only contributed about $22,000. This means that for nearly a decade, you are doing 78% of the heavy lifting. You are the engine. Your money is just a passenger. This is exhausting. It is demoralizing. It feels like you are shoveling coal into a furnace that isn't generating any heat. This is what the legendary investor Charlie Munger meant when he said, "The first $100,000 is a bitch, but you gotta do it." He wasn't being crude. He was being mathematically precise. He understood that during this phase, you are fighting against the inertia of zero. You have no army of dollars working for you yet. You are trading your time, your stress, and your labor for every single dollar in that account. But here is the secret that Maya doesn't know. The math flips. Once you hit $100,000, the physics of your portfolio change fundamentally. Let's keep that same $10,000 a year contribution. To go from $100,000 to $200,000 doesn't take 7.8 years. It takes about 5.1 years. Why? Because while you are putting in your $10,000, your $100,000 is silently earning $7,000 to $10,000 a year in the background. Suddenly, you have a partner. You are putting in $10K, and your account is putting in $7K. You are effectively saving $17,000 a year while only feeling the pain of saving $10,000. To go from $200,000 to $300,000 takes only 3.7 years. Do you see what is happening? The intervals are shrinking. By the time you are aiming for your second million, the market is contributing more in a single good year than you could save in a decade of working. This is escape velocity. Just like a rocket ship uses 90% of its fuel just to get off the launch pad and break the atmosphere, you will use 90% of your discipline and willpower just to get to that first $100K. But once you are in orbit, you can travel thousands of miles with almost zero fuel. Maya's mistake, and the mistake of millions of women, is thinking that the launch pad phase is how it will feel forever. It won't. You are front-loading the pain to backload the freedom. If you stop now, you have paid the price of the fuel, but you never got to see the stars. You have to stay in the seat until you break gravity. But the first $100K isn't just a mathematical milestone, it is a psychological fortress. Reaching this number changes your relationship with your job, your boss, and your entire life trajectory. When Maya has $38,000, she is doing well, but she is still vulnerable. A layoff, a medical emergency, or a bad breakup could wipe her out. She still has to say yes to projects she hates. She still has to laugh at her boss's unfunny jokes. But at $100,000, money transforms from a survival tool into a leverage tool. $100,000 is roughly 2 to 3 years of basic living expenses for a single person. That is not just cash, that is walk-away power. When you walk into a negotiation knowing you could survive for 3 years without a paycheck, your body language changes. You don't reek of desperation, you radiate option value. You can ask for the 20% raise, and if they say no, you can actually leave. You can take the risk on that side business, because you have a runway. The irony of wealth is that opportunities flow to people who don't need them. When you don't need the job, you get the better offers. When you don't need the loan, the bank gives you the best rates. Your first $100,000 is the entry fee into the world where the system works for you instead of against you. It also acts as a massive psychological filter against bad spending. When you have $5,000, buying a $1,000 handbag feels justifiable because I'm broke anyway, might as well look good. But when you have $100,000, you look at that $1,000 handbag and you realize that is 1% of my net worth. If I invest that $1,000, it will double to $2,000, then $4,000. You start to see the potential of your money rather than just its purchasing power. You become protective of your soldiers because you finally have a battalion big enough to win the war. This is why the rich get richer, not just because of compound interest, but because success begets the behavior that creates more success. You stop trying to look rich because you are too busy being rich. The danger, of course, is the victory lap. Many people hit $100K and think, I made it, time to buy the Tesla. That is the trap. The $100K is not for spending, it is the seed corn for your harvest. If you eat the seed corn, you starve next winter. You have to let that $100K sit there and breed. You have to treat it like it is locked in a vault, completely inaccessible. The only thing you are allowed to touch is the interest, and even then, only decades from now. If you can hold the line at $100K, if you can keep your lifestyle frozen while your money starts to snowball, you will look up in 15 years and realize you are a millionaire, and the hardest work you ever did was those first 5 years when you were staring at $38,000 and wanting to quit. So to every Maya watching this, to every woman who is grinding away at her savings and feeling like the needle isn't moving, do not stop. You are in the most critical phase of your financial life. You are building the foundation of a skyscraper, and digging the hole takes longer than building the penthouse. The first $100,000 is a test. It tests your patience, your vision, and your grit. But if you pass the test, the rest of the game becomes easy mode. Keep pushing the boulder. You are closer to the summit than you think. If you are committed to hitting your first $100K, comment I am climbing down below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.